Here we have Lesson 9, Solving and Graphing Inequations, Part 1 of 2 parts. Well, solve and graph each and graph the solution of each. Here we have something called an inequation. It looks just like an equation, but instead of there being an equals separating left and right, in this case, there's a less than sign. We could also have any other relationship, such as a greater than or equal to sign. The good news is that except for one situation in the next video, these are solved exactly the same. Before I solve it, let me just say, what does this mean? Think of a number, multiply it by 3. Then what you get from that, take 4 away. And what you will have is a number that is less than 1. It could be 0, could be -1, or -1,000,000. There are lots of answers, an infinite number, but that must not ever be greater than or equal to 1. So here's what you do. The same thing as we did with equations. I am going to try to make this have an x on the left and a number on the right. What I'm going to do is add 4 to both sides. As we have learned to do with equations, that will give us 3x. Now just carry this less than sign down, is less than 5. Now, what I'm thinking now is I have a number, multiply it by 3, it's less than 5. Now that's the same answer as the first one. I hope you can see that the next thing we should do is divide both sides by 3. And when we do, we get x is less than 5/3. Whenever x is less than 5/3, this will work out to being less than 1. I can even plot that on a number line, hastily drawn in freehand. Here's a 0. Now 5/3 is between 1 and 2. In fact, it would be right about there, 5/3. Recall that this symbol means that it must not be equal to it. In fact, it must be less than it. So I'll put an open circle, and this is the graph of the solution to the equation 3x minus 4 is less than 1. Well, let's try it again. Over here, 4 times a number, take away 5. It's greater than, don't like that, let's have an x there. That same number added to 2. Here we go. What I'm going to do is add 5 to both sides of the equation, giving me 4x is greater than or equal to that number, x plus 7. I will now subtract x from both sides, giving me 3x is greater than or equal to, I don't think I said that last time, 7. And so, with one more step, we have a division by 3 here. In this case, it's coincidence that we divided by 3 over there. And we are left with x is greater than or equal to 7/3. So, put that on the number line. Again, hastily drawn with a 0, 7/3, eh? 1, 2, 3. And thirds would make it right about here. 7/3, 2 1/3, 7/3. X can be equal to 7/3, so we'll fill it in with a dot and then make it greater than. As a check, notice that 0 is not part of the answer. If I put a 0 in here in place of x, I would get an untrue or a false statement. It would say that 0 is greater than 7/3. Well, it should be false because 0 is not an answer key. It is part of the answer. Well, that's it. Please try some practicing on these ideas.